you're like me, you hear the word intention and your eyes glaze over and you're just like completely bored. It's kind of how I feel when people are like, you should meditate. And I know that meditation has changed my life. But we're going to be talking about intention and just getting really practical and really thinking about our intention behind a lot of the things that we do in the personal growth and self development space, which is a lot. I know if you're listening to this podcast, you probably are doing a lot of work, a lot of personal growth work, a lot of therapy, a lot of courses, a lot of programs. You're probably following all the right quote accounts and all the right, inspirational things, all of it, all of it, all of it. But I really, really want to think about, especially in 2023, our intention behind doing all of these personal growth and self development things, because our intention is truly everything. So something I've been thinking about a lot lately is when we're doing these things, and this is going to be the heater just right up front. This is the hot part of the conversation. Are you doing these things because you hate yourself or because you love yourself? Are you doing all of these things because you want to change who you are? You want to lose the weight. You want to be more successful. You want to have the relationship. You want to be less broken. You want to be less, traumatized. You want to be all of these things. Or are you doing these things because there's this deep desire within you, knowing what's possible for yourself? Because you say, I love where I'm at. I love who I am, but I'd love more. And even when we say the word more, it can even be triggering a little bit where people are like, why is it always about more? Why is it always about more? And in both of these situations, when we're loving ourselves and when we're hating ourselves, there is like that capitalistic desire for more. But when we think about when we're loving ourselves, when we're doing things because we love ourselves and we desire for more, it's more of the things that are truly aligned to us. And there's a deep satisfaction throughout. So it never gets to the point where it's like egregious, where there's too much, where we're just overindulging and we're just making ourselves sick from all this personal growth and self-development work. So I'll tell you a story. So I lately am really into praying over my food and blessing it. I will do this, I'll say it out loud sometimes if I'm with friends and it feels right, or I'll really just do it in my head by myself. And, when I'm doing it with friends, I'm not like, hey, everybody, quiet down. I've got to pray over our meal. Listen up to my prayer, and you're going to have to agree with everything that I'm saying. It's not that. It's when I'm with people that I love and, we're on the vibe of having intention around food, I can kind of lead in a little prayer. It's super casual. Don't get all freaked out. Don't have your Catholic upbringing sort of make you shut off the podcast. But it's really nice to set the intention and really get in the right vibrational frequency when we're eating our food, being more mindful, being more conscious when we're eating. And so I have been doing that with a lot of my meals, especially my breakfast, which feels super special, just to say something like, thank you so much for blessing me with this food that is serving me in living my highest experience and expression. This food is nourishing every cell in my body. This food helps me feel vibrant and alive. And I'm so grateful that this food is here today to nourish me in living a life that I love. Super simple. And so I'll be doing that around my food. And I've been trying to be in conversation with my body much more when I am eating. So I will be at dinner with people or eating by myself. And I'm like, okay, this food right now is nourishing my healthy, vibrant body. Take a bite. This food right now is nourishing my healthy, vibrant body. Or this food right now is being digested perfectly by my body. All the nutrients are ingested optimally. Things like that. And so one time I was out to dinner with a friend and, we just really went hog wild, as I do. It's a starter, it's a main, it's a dessert, it's a nice little mocktail. It's all of the things. We love a full blown meal. And in it, I had the wonderful thought that we sometimes have, which is I have eaten way too much. I am so scared right now because I'm going to put on all this weight. I'm going to lose everything. No one's going to love me. The train that happens around our body, the conversation around our body. It goes from I've overeaten to the end of the line, which is I'm going to be completely abandoned by the world or whatever it is. So I was just feeling so anxious because I had eaten so much and I was, hopeful to not overeat and, all of that whole conversation. And the body conversation is something I've talked about quite a bit on the podcast, My Body Journey. You can listen to my body acceptance episodes that talk a lot about that. But this is something that I've always had as a conversation in my head. It's like my dark passenger from a Dexter perspective that sort of lives in my brain a lot of times, even though me and this dark passenger, my dark thoughts about my eating and body are better friends than ever. It still comes up. And so in that moment, I thought, I was like, I'm going to excuse myself, go to the bathroom, have a moment with myself, and just kind of like recalibrate and just kind of be kind to my anxiety, see what it has to say around overeating at this dinner. And so I get into the bathroom and I am just kind of, standing there and I'm like, okay, I am perfectly digesting all of this food. It is all serving my highest timeline and my highest vibration. This food is serving me and looking beautiful and vibrant and radiant. And oh my God, all of this food was digested, just all of the things. I was just going off in my mind. My mind is in the loop thought of like, how can I counteract every calorie? So every time I say my food is being digested perfectly by my body means one bite less was taken. That was like the way I was sort of moving, that I was like hoping that the more that I said it to myself, the less of an impact it would have on my diet goals or my daily calorie budget or whatever. And I just started to really, really go hard in looping. And then, as it happens, my beautiful higher self, my amazing higher self, the number one goat, came down and was like, you know what? You, first of all, are acting ridiculous. But second of all, you are so anxious in your body right now and you are so stressed that the energy of intention behind what you're saying is fear. It's actually not love. You are actually saying all of those things because you are so scared that you're going to lose it all if you put on weight. You are going to not be loved. You are going to be abandoned. Your life will be over. You're going to lose your, all of the things that sort of come up. And that energy that you have behind this conversation is actually doing way more harm than good. It is actually bringing you further away from your goals, from your wishes, from your desires, from what you're truly wanting to feel and create. And so it's better to just be honest with yourself about where you're at and be truthful about how you're feeling than it is to have this like fake clarity of, I am digesting this delicious cake perfectly and it's going straight to my butt or wherever, whatever we want to say. And I was thinking a lot about that. And I was so grateful that I thought about that, because when I think about my intention behind, some of the mental conversation I've been having around my food, when I am getting ready in the morning or when I'm having my morning breakfast and I'm sitting down, it's absolutely quiet. I'm at peace with the food and I truly am blessing this food with beautiful intention. And I'm feeling really good about eating it because I've been having this breakfast of oatmeal and protein powder for the past couple weeks and it's felt really nice. I have the energy and frequency of the food is just doing exactly what my intention says, because I have the elevated emotion of joy and peace and surrender with my breakfast. But when I'm at a dinner and I overate, whatever that means, and I'm going into the bathroom or I'm sitting there and I'm just tweaking out about everything that I ate, the anxiety and feeling in my body is not matching what is going on in my head. So the electric and magnetic energy that is being conducted by my body in the morning, which is really beautiful and pleasant, is a coherent frequency between my body and my mind. It's a really beautiful thing. But when I'm in that situation where I'm lying to myself, where I'm sort of giving myself fake clarity, there is an incoherent frequency. So our intentions, from a more mathematical perspective, operate as highly coherent frequencies capable of changing the molecular structure of matter. So for the intention to be effective, it is really necessary for the actual truth of how you feel to match what you're saying or what you're intending. And this is a lot of Joe Dispenza's work where, you've heard 1,000 times that to create something out of nothing, you really need to match the clear intention with an elevated emotion. So the feeling of joy, the feeling of peace, the feeling of excitement, whatever that is, they need to match your actual emotional state. So in the situation where I'm in the bathroom, being cool, calm and collected, being the spiritual leader I am, just sort of having a moment because I overate. Like, sometimes we have to go back to move forward. The emotion that I'm feeling is not matching the clear intention. So my clear intention of this will be digested perfectly by my body is my body is not saying that. My body is actually in a state of fear and anxiety during that time. So in our, goal-oriented, self-improvement obsessed society, it can be really, really easy to turn all of this work, all of the self-development things, all of the spiritual things into a project to change ourselves. And the intention behind it is to change ourselves more than it is to love ourselves more. We need to remember that spiritual work, personal growth work, self-development work is not about changing who you are. It's about discovering how whole you already are.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Morning Microdose by Almost 30.
We hope you enjoyed waking up.
As always, we encourage you to take what resonates and leave the rest. If you enjoyed this trip, tune into the full episode on the Almost 30 podcast. All episode information can be found in the show notes.
Make sure to subscribe, and if this becomes a part of your morning routine, be sure to share it with a friend. We have new inspiring doses Monday through Friday. Follow us on Instagram at Morning Microdose, and follow Almost 30 at Almost 30 Podcast.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the vortex.